There were two other trailers that I saw. One of which I'm only going to talk about very, very briefly because A, I was just like, why are we doing this again? And B, if you're going to do this again, there is a certain signature thing that you have to have. And I did not see it in the trailer, and I'm pissed.
Okay.
If we're going to fucking bring back House Party,
Oh God, is that the one with LeBron?
and none of the two main people in the trailer that I saw has the hair, the kid hair. I mean, I understand modern times doesn't call for that hairstyling. I get it. I get it. But if you're gonna fucking do House Party,
And I apologize for jumping in there because I had to remember that I had seen that trailer already. That was on the Dawn of the Dead 3D trailer reel.
oh Jesus. I
Uh,
can see how it was easy to block that out then.
Yes, because immediately after I forgot. I don't even.
You didn't even remember how you got there. You were just watching the movie.
I blacked out for that little in between there, and I think the menu was in the on the trailer reel for that too. But that might, yeah, it was.
I still need to
Um,
see that. I heard that
I,
was really good.
as well, but I remember it now because I was like, I looked over at Chandler and I was like, is this House Party?
Yeah. Am I having a moment? Like, didn't we do this three times in the 90s?
But logistically, we've talked about horror movies, how the cell phone generation has kind of killed the horror movie because certain people don't understand the fear that you would feel in certain things because you could just say, "Well, I just pull out my phone and call the cops," or I would, even though there's cell phone blocking technology and shit. But for a house party like that, LeBron don't have security. You think you pissed off the entire city of Cleveland and you don't have security?
This is true. These are facts.
See, we only speak facts here.
But yeah, I saw that and I'm like, well, I really hope the Kid and Play at least fucking show up. They might have been in the trailer and I just missed it, but I really hope at the very least they have a cameo. I don't understand. Like, I didn't see who was putting it out. And I don't even know if I want to know because that might make me even more angry. But I'm sure you just saw who it was too.
No, I forgot that there is an adult themed game on Steam called House Party that takes place on a college campus and it has 9 out of 10 stars
Oh,
on Steam. And I was looking, I was like, dang, the House Party remakes got 9 out of. That means it's in the IMDb top 10. And then I was like, oh, wait. You don't need DirectX 11 with a GPU to watch the House
yeah.
Party remake, although it probably would help. Who is putting this out, actually?
I don't understand how a company is sitting there looking at material to make a movie out of, and like, you mean to tell me you had nothing else to the point where you had to reach at the bottom of the dollar barrel for House Party? Like, you couldn't, there wasn't anything original laying around that just you could have half-assed. Like who said House Party and a room of other people were like, yeah, yeah, it's about time.
Are you going to be surprised or angry when I tell you who did?
I'm trying to remember. This seems Dimension's not still around, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think they got bought up.
I didn't think so, but like I'm like I could see it being one of that if they were still around, but I'm gonna have to go. I always pick on them. I make fun of them so much, and that they do good stuff from time to time. But I'm gonna have to go with New Line because it. it if it's Warner Brothers, I'm gonna be very angry.
Oh, Ian, let me add icing on the cake. Spring Hill Entertainment and the Hideaway Entertainment are production companies on it, but so is New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers. And Warner Brothers handled the distribution for the U.S. theatrical, Netherlands, Germany, and HBO Max is handling the VOD.
All right. Well,
So
they
both.
didn't. They're just trying to. Okay, if they're only doing distribution, I can.
Oh
It
no, they're
is
not
what it
just
is.
doing distribution. They're listed under production as well. It's a joint. It's a joint effort, but not the kind of joint effort that viewers of
Yeah.
our show and all would like.
Whenever I hear the term joint effort, I think of that scene in How High. It's like you got blunts, I got weed.
I haven't said that in so long.
But
And it releases this
God damn it.
Friday.
I mean it doesn't surprise me that New Line's got their fucking hands in this pocket because that, like I said, I make fun of them so much, and I really feel bad about making fun of them, but at the same time, I'm just like, this just seems like some stupid shit that they would do.
Would you like me to add on to your frustration at the moment?
Hmm.
Because I'm getting really good at this. Um, the director, um, I'm probably gonna mispronounce this. Comatic did some Pharrell music videos and the like. He's a 20 credit now profile.
I mean, that
He's
makes
also
sense. If it's somebody that made that, got their start doing music videos and stuff, then all right, that makes sense. It's fucking house party. I get it, but that makes sense.
he's also remaking White Men Can't Jump with Lance Reddick, which is that's a good sign. I like Lance Reddick, but I'm also questioning
Wh-
why.
Why? Like, and again, I'm not talking shit about that movie either. I mean, but like, that's fucking. Whenever I hear that title, I only want to think about fucking what is it? Woody Harrelson, Rosie Perez, and fucking was that wasn't Wesley Snipes, was it?
Yes.
Who it was? Okay, I was just making sure.
Yes.
Like whenever I hear White Men Can't Jump, those are the only three names that I ever want to hear. All right, and that's how it needs to stay. Uh, but why? Why? The only thing that makes sense to me is that they saw what fucking happened to Top Gun, and for some reason, somebody's just like, if Top Gun can do it, House Party can do it, because that's a fucking ridiculous
That
mindset to be in. But I can see it.
I can see it, but I don't exactly condone it myself. But I shit on remakes a lot, but but remakes typically, to be serious for a moment, are not necessarily made for us. They're made to bring in a new generation, and the argument always is the old movie's still going to be there, and
Of
the new
course,
movie isn't for you. Which I
yeah.
also hate that because that sounds very
I don't want to say gatekeeperish, but that
it's
seems like a
gatekeeperish.
play out of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a play out of that book. And you're right, and it is it at the very least it'll drum up interest in the original. Um, but I just the only rebuttal that I have to it that bothers me is I'm like there was nothing else to choose from. There was nothing original. I'm not gonna shit on remakes entirely because sometimes we get good things when it's done when it's chosen for the right reasons. But if it's just like like I said, if somebody was just like, well, Top Gun made a bunch of fucking movies, let's fucking bring back White Men Can't Jump. Like
Which
I don't understand how anybody would take that suggestion seriously. Like it's like I don't get it.
I mean, Ian, it's already in post production. So somebody took it way serious than if they were able to, and that's okay. I mean I really do feel though that we have reached the point though that, and I'm not trying to have my brain go to a negative spot here, but it seems like you make the remake not to overshadow the original, but if the original is that good or that well loved, the people who go and see the remake are going to go pick up an older copy of it and be like, why the hell did I waste my time with the remake when the original was out there? But they've already got your money at that point, so fuck you. But
The two that I still hold out danger signs for, one of which, as of late, I think actually is a lot more in danger of actually happening than I wanted to, but being Back to the Future. I do not want a new Back to the Future. If it's a
yep.
continuation, if it's a continuation like a part four, depending on what you want to do, I'm willing to listen. But I don't want I don't want a new Marty. I don't want a new fucking Doc. I don't want a new Einstein. Um, but um, Christopher Lloyd has been pretty adamantly and I'm not even making fun of this either because I actually applaud this, but I think a relative of his is in charge of his Twitter account because Christopher Lloyd's fucking old as shit.
Yeah,
Um,
he's up there.
but the person like publicly, and he's like, hey, by the way, I'm the one doing this, so everybody knows. Like, don't think it's literally him. So I was like, I applaud. I'm like, hey, somebody's being honest. But he tweets what Christopher Lloyd wants him to say, and he's pretty adamant about them doing a new Back to the Future, and I'm just like, please don't do that. But so the one that I think is safe to a certain degree is Jaws.
Yeah.
Because ain't nobody gonna fuck with an anime like Spielberg was very vocal about the annoyances of having to work with what he was working with. And two, the CG is not. I mean, it doesn't matter if the Meg is a good movie or not. It's not a real shark.
And that's where practical effects take you into a different realm. Like the thing, why is the thing still scary? 40 years later, 41 years later now.
Mhm.
It's because there's no CG. It's practical and you can see it and it's tangible. That's the other part. Dario Argento talked about that in an interview where he said, I don't like to kill my people with like bullets and things because the average moviegoer doesn't know what it feels like to be shot. Thank God.
Ooh.
And he was like, in
Yeah.
Deep Red, when he smashes the dude's teeth on the mantle, people
That's
know how
something
that feels.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and just now it's making my mouth hurt. And you cut your hand, with a knife, stuff like that. That's tangible stuff. Same goes for movie monsters too, where that shark is an animatronic, but it's real. There's no shroud around it because they have to put a mat on the back to get the shark there and all of that. There's something to be said about that.
Is it
Back
is it is it just me, or is it that signature photo of Spielberg just kind of lounging
in the
in the
shark's mouth
Jaws mouth? Does that fucking just make you so nervous every time you see it? Because you're like,
every single
this
time.
is like the '70s. This is a poorly put together robot with electronics, and it's in the water, and you are in a clamp.
It makes me think of Naked Gun when OJ gets crimped in the bed and his spine like that. That's the kind of nightmare scenario. Also, back to the gatekeeping point,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm gonna. The movie wasn't made for you. That's what they said about Ghostbusters 2016 until Ghostbusters Afterlife came out, and they were like, "Wait a minute, that's what it was supposed to be." That gives people something, or that gives the kids something to look up to that they didn't have before. Because I think Afterlife did a better job of it than 2016 did. So hindsight's a bitch in a lot of cases, but in that case, it does kind of seem gatekeeping when you say that. Because movie studios aren't going to put 20-30 million dollars into something that's going to hit a narrow margin. They need to make money to get it back to be able to keep making stuff. So
Uh,
double-edged sword.